San Francisco is one of the richest cities in the world, and it's got to be in one of the 2 or 3 prettiest. It's really, really pretty. But you can't really live there anymore. We aired a video last night that showed vagrants shooting up or lying passed out in their own vomit in the middle of a BART, a train station, right downtown outside the Civic Center, 2 blocks from Twitter headquarters. Local reporters have found needles and human feces on every single block in downtown San Francisco. One estimate says that the city spends about $30 million a year just cleaning up needles and human waste. As an added bonus to this, the city is suffering from an epidemic of car break-ins. There were more than 30,000 of those just last year. Joe Alioto-Veronese is running for DA of San Francisco, and he joins us tonight. Joe, I know you're a lifelong resident of that city, of course.
That's right.
And I sort of wonder how the people in charge, as they commute on BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit, don't notice the junkies shooting up in the station. What do they think when they pass those people doing that?
Well, we've reached a point in San Francisco, I think it's really a threshold point where it's not just at BART. You can walk down Market Street, as you mentioned, right. Twitter, the new district down there that was non-existent about 10 years ago, but because the tax break brought all of the Twitter people in at higher incomes and pushed a lot of people out onto the street. 70% of the people that are homeless in San Francisco were actually not homeless 5 years ago. But what we did was we abandoned a homeless policy that was actually working when the new administration came in. Under Gavin Newsom, there was a very effective homeless policy, but when the new administration came in, many of those people got pushed to the streets, especially with some of those larger income jobs. And you find the last time you and I spoke, we talked about, focusing on the middle income. Well, the middle income in San Francisco and the lower income people, there's a very small delta between those people because the lower income people are living in lower rent apartments because they've been there for a longer time and they're protected. And then you get these Twitter people that are coming in and making $150,000 to $200,000 a year who are also living paycheck to paycheck because they're paying for the same apartments. They're paying $5,000 or $6,000.
Well, I think
more.
Everything you're saying is clearly right. I mean, the housing shortage and the geography of the city makes it always a tight housing market. But I also am asking a more basic question about what the leaders of the city care about. If you walk to work and you see people degrading themselves, defecating on the streets, shooting up, why wouldn't that horrify you to the point that you would drop what you're doing and fix it? And instead, they're lecturing the rest of us about how we're immoral because we don't want more illegal aliens in the state of California. It just seems like their priority is totally backward. They don't care about their own people. Why wouldn't you reach that conclusion?
Well, I don't think it's that they don't care. I think the problem is that they don't know how to fix it. Some of the progressive values in San Francisco, is that what they do as some of these politicians is that they create new institutions, new entitlements around problems that they see because old departments and new departments as well, but old departments aren't solving the specific problems. The Department of Health, for example, which has a $3 billion budget in San Francisco, that was the entire city budget not 15, 20 years ago. And now we're up to $10 billion, actually probably just over $10 billion. But the mayor last week, what he did was he said, okay, we've got this needle problem, so what we're going to do is we're going to hire 10 new people, and we're going to give the San Francisco AIDS Foundation the budget for 10 new people.
Oh, I bet.
Well, those 10 people aren't going to go away. Instead of hiring 10 new people, because you can imagine what that would look like, right? Firing 10 people from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation that were hired to pick up needles. Well, instead of hiring 10 new people and creating a new institution around it like we did with the new homeless department in San Francisco, why aren't we looking at the Department of Health and saying, hey, these are people on the street with opioid problems. These are people on the street with mental health problems. You have a $3 billion budget. This should be within your budget to fix.
But I agree. I actually agree with you on that. But look, think about it in terms of your own children. If you said to your kids, like, you can't do that. You're just not, you know what, how about this? You're not allowed to shoot heroin on the street. I don't care. Maybe you go to someone else's county who will put up with this crap, but we're not putting up with it. Everyone here on Market Street, like, you're gone. That's really simple. Well, you would do that with your own children. Why aren't you doing it with your own people?
2 things. My child will never be on the street doing opiates and shooting needles into his arms, legs, whatever. That will just never happen because in my family, I grew up in a family where you support your own family. You do anything for your family. And that's very true to, Catholics and Italians and stuff like that, which is why you'd never see that particular scene.
But shouldn't the city of San Francisco care about its own people? That's the point. They don't care. They're so walled off in their fantasy worlds. They just don't care about actual people who are dying.
It absolutely should, but it's stuck in building these institutions that literally last for years and years and years. That don't solve problems. Now, let me tell you this.
I'm sorry, we're out of time. Give me the one line. Yeah.
The Department of Health in San Francisco has a group of individuals that go out and handful of needles to people. Instead of hiring 10 new people to pick them up, let's take care of those people who are actually giving them out and stop doing it. More accountability in San Francisco is what we need, especially on the crime issues.
You get what you put up with.
You.
It's always true. Right. Joe, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Well, we have a direct descendant of Pocahontas on the show in just a minute, and she is a direct challenge for Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Obviously, you don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.